Was there ever a time, like, let me put it like this. It's often said that it's lonely at the top. Was there ever a time that when you were at the height of your career that you felt alone? And what did that teach you about attention versus love?
I, even at the peak of my career, I never felt alone. I was in a moment of enjoying the success and feeling like this is what, it was the craziest thing. When I was a kid, I was 15 when I signed my record deal. 16, my first record came out. Losing, not being successful, wasn't even a thought process. I thought you sign a record deal, that means you're going to be a star. So I never thought anything different.
Right.
Never thought anything different. And so being in the business at such an early age, as a kid, taking care of a family at the age of 15, a family of five, being successful when I signed that record contract, it was never a question for me that I was going to fail. So even as a kid going through the process, I've always was enjoying it and watching it as the fame grew, watching it as it got more understanding that what mistakes you made, of how you have to deal with certain stuff, now how you got to carry yourself, how people now magnify everything you say you do. It has to be done differently, but I never allowed it to take over me. I never allowed myself to reach a point that what you think about me, let me try to walk stronger, let me try to scream stronger, let me try to look different, let me make sure I stick my chest out to make sure you understand and know who I am. I never allowed that to change me because of what people think. Why? Because then I would have fallen into that trap of what most people do and have done, where they get to the point where they lose themselves, trying to prove to people who they are or who they want them to see them to be. I'm just like, listen, what you see is what you get. And I've been that way for a long time since I can recall. And it has kept me stable. It has kept me in this place that I think that's the reason why I had never ran to drugs. I never decided I needed to do any of the other things that I saw the people doing, because I was always my own man, and walked my own walk. And wasn't afraid to hang around people. I don't care who you are, gay, straight, whatever it was, always was secure of being around people and dealing with people according to how they treat me, and never running and hiding.
Right. You've had some great relationships with some phenomenal women. Like, I mean, you're friends with Janet.
Yeah.
You're friends with Whitney.
Yes.
And Stacy Lattisaw. I want to come back to Janet and Whitney, but Stacy Lattisaw is like one of my favorites, and I think it was so cool for y'all to be friends for so long. Y'all go all the way back to Kimball Elementary.
What I mean? Yeah, and then we went to Kimball Elementary, then ended up, her place was the hangout spot after school every day. Everybody comes home from school, get your work done, but you go over, and her place was like Disneyland for us, actually. There was always something going on, softball, dodgeball. There was something going, roller skating, go-karts. They would take us for go-kart ride, all the kids, the neighborhood stuff. And so her place was always that for all of us. Right. And then we started dating. And that was really before I actually got my record deal. And
so is that how y'all came up with the song Perfect Combination?
That was Narada Michael Walden. And I believe that's probably, I don't know if we were even, honestly, if everybody even knew. Of course, the president of the label knew we had started dating. But I think Narada must have had some kind of clue too, because I think when you think about how ironic that song came about, and we were young.
I'm glad you said y'all dated, man, because this makes me feel good. Like I like this story. I like the love story part of it, because I'm like, they've been knowing each other. They had been knowing each other since elementary.
Yeah.
They're both in the industry. They both appear to be good people.
Yep.
Why not connect? You know what I'm saying? Y'all got many things in common. Why not connect? So y'all dated.
Yep.
At what age did y'all start dating?
Oh, goodness.
Because y'all made that song when you were around 17, 18, right?
So it must have been probably around 17, 18. Yeah, we started. We started.
And so
actually, a little bit before that, because the first album came out in 83. So I was about maybe 16. So, we started kind of at that point.
How long did y'all date?
Oh, God. maybe because I moved to LA in 86, 87. So we might have dated for maybe about 2 years, 3 years, maybe tops.
Okay, so it was hard, but it wasn't as hard as it would have been had y'all been together longer because y'all knew each other's families.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The
And
families.
so I always thought that there was something special about like dating a woman who you not only fall in love with her, but you fall in love with her family. Because I think that is extremely important to fall in love with her family because a lot of us today, we got this Bonnie and Clyde mentality and we got that us against the world, me and you, me and my girl, all I need is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I think I am serious about it taking a village to raise a child. And I think that, men need to have their friends and their friend group and be close to mama and daddy and all that. And same thing with women. When you find that people are close, they got a close relationship with family and friends, they have a tribe, they seem to be better off.